Henshin Inspection presents Rider Tears. This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Welcome to Rider Tears. Visit mjmunoz.com/RT for notes and links. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment to help me grow. And if I sound a little strange, it's because I am overjoyed. I cannot believe that I'm saying the things I'm saying, or be reading the things that I'm reading, but I'm going to do it. So, this is Rider Week. This is coming out Rider Week, and this is not how I wanted to start Rider Tears, which is a relaunch of MJ Loves Toku, focusing on Kamen Rider, because I'm now talking about Ultraman on an Ultraman show, and I've got an upcoming Super Sentai show that I'm going to start, where I tried to stop podcasting, but I'm just doing more podcasting than ever before. I'm writing more than ever before. I'm praying and reading the Bible more than ever before. I'm just firing on all cylinders. I spent all day yesterday almost doing very tough physical labor. I got sunburn. I'm sore because I got my pull-up bar, and my hands hurt so much from exercise, or from the shoveling yesterday. I couldn't do my exercises this morning, so I had to finish off with planks instead of a bunch of, or not a bunch, like 3 pull-ups. I'm just going. I'm going for it. Please God, I'll have a lot of success. But I'm so excited to share these announcements. I got to talk about this. I'm going to just share, I'm sure everybody's heard the news, but for context, I'll share the news about these 3 big projects real quick that Toei announced at the inauguration of their Rider Week, and then I'm going to do some dangerous speculation about Kamen Rider Black Sun. I can't believe I just said that. Okay, so first of all, the series Kamen Rider Double, which is not one of my favorites, but it has a lot of good in it, a lot of bad too, which is why it's not one of my favorites. Anyway, it's a very popular show. There's a lot of positive things about it, a lot of very good things about it, things that I would dare not criticize, but then again, I don't think criticism is a bad thing, and I don't just attack things and try to destroy them, tear them down. Anyway, it got a manga sequel, I guess, although, I don't know, I tried to check it out, and just, I don't know. The fact that it's double, I couldn't stick with it. Sorry. Shotaro is not my cup of tea, and anyway. But it's getting a manga, or an anime, rather. It's getting an anime adaptation of the thing. I don't remember what year it's coming out, but it doesn't matter. It'll be in the future sometime. Before 2023, I'm sure. Anyway, that's awesome. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to have to cover it on Rider Tears, or maybe on, I don't know, if I start an anime podcast in between now and then, I'll do it over there, and then push people over to tokusatsu stuff that I do. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Then, in 2023, none other than Hideaki Anno is going to be producing with Studio... Well, is it with Studio Kara? I thought it was Studio Kara. But I don't think they just do anime. I think they do everything now. Anyway, he will be directing Kamen Rider, Shin Kamen Rider. Not Kamen Rider Shin, but a Shin Kamen Rider. And they released a promo image. It's mostly silhouette, shows a hopper type rider, like Takeshi Hongo, in like a trench coat thingy that's all torn up with a big long scarf going, and it looks like a redesigned Rider 1 belt. I don't remember what happened with Shin Ultraman. It looks like he doesn't have a color timer. I thought he was supposed to have a color timer, but he doesn't, which is kind of weird. But anyway, haven't seen it yet, so I don't know all the details. But anyway, he's done Shin Godzilla, he's done Shin Ultraman, and now he's doing Shin Kamen Rider. So that's awesome. It's very exciting. I haven't seen Shin Godzilla. I'm not a huge Godzilla person, but one day I will be. No, I don't know. I'll see about getting into it. We'll see what happens. But I am a big fan of Kamen Rider Black. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm yelling now uncontrollably. I'm also uncontrollably smiling because Kamen Rider Black is so good. I know everybody says it. I know it's cliche. I know I'm being... to some extent basic because of my excitement about Kamen Rider Black. And I think it's funny and a little unfair that this Kamen Rider Black project, or Black Sun, spring 2022 is the launch. So next spring, is being announced today, and it's like, this is part of our 50th. Is it really? Is it really, Toei? Come on, guys. You could have had this ready last. Maybe COVID gave them a setback. I don't know. But it says here, from their website, which is kamenriderofficial.jp/en or whatever, commemorating 50th anniversary of Kamen Rider debut, master filmmaker Kazuya Shiraishi to direct new interpretation of Masked Rider Black's saga, reboot of classic franchise Kamen Rider Black Sun. Like I said, spring 2022. So, they have a big deal about how somebody like redid the calligraphy for the logo for Black Sun, and I look at it. It is really cool. It actually kind of reminds me of some of the titling, some of the calligraphy on like a Garo, which I hope this doesn't mean there's going to be sensual exposed flesh in this, like for the sake of being edgier, because it does say that this is supposed to appeal to adult viewers. But I think Kamen Rider Black appeals to adult viewers just fine, because I watched Kamen Rider Black as an adult, and in fact I watched it when I first became a father. I think, gosh, was I watching it before my first was born, or it might have been right after, when I had a newborn. I was watching Kamen Rider Black and loving it, and it was just so darn good. It had so much good stuff in it. There's some, goofy stuff. There's the episode with Bison Girl. There's, I think there's like a Shonen Army episode. But like, it's a good show. It's a really good show. There's like, he saves a puppy. That's how he gets his super rider punch or whatever at one point when he's having trouble and he's trying to train himself to defeat somebody. I don't remember who. But yeah, I don't really see a reason to adultize Kamen Rider Black. I don't know what that means, but I'm okay with that. I do have some speculation. I don't know. Am I going to read this or not? I'm just going to read this, okay? So, Kamen Rider, original work by Shotaro Ishinomori, was first broadcast on TV Asahi, affiliates in 1971. For half a century, the original Showa era series through Kamen Rider, from the Showa era to Kamen Rider Saber here in Reiwa. The Mass Rider superhero has entertained viewers of all ages. Now in 2021, the Kamen Rider series marks its 50th anniversary. Commemorating this 50th anniversary milestone, a remake of the highly popular Kamen Rider Black series has been announced. A new interpretation of a story steeped in pathos, of the hero's harsh fate. Kamen Rider Black returns to the screen after a hiatus of more than 30 years, reincarnated as Kamen Rider Black Sun. Although, to be fair, he appeared, and Minami Kotaro appeared in Decade as both Black and Black RX, so like two Minami Kotaro. So that's kind of a lie, but that's okay. You say what you need to, Toei, to make yourself sound good. Commissioned for the logo, calligrapher Son Takeda has created a powerful image that embodies the heroic worldview of the new series. I don't really know how that's possible, but I think Japanese, their understanding of calligraphy is like very culturally steeped, so I couldn't really say. I won't judge either way. But I do have some positive things to say about that logo, and then I'm going to get into speculation. Let's see. Named as director for this project is master filmmaker Kazuya Shiraishi, known, not by me, for hit films including, Kyoaku, The Blood of Wolves, and The Blood of Wolves. Inspired by Kamen Rider Black, the Kamen Rider Black series in 1987, Shiraishi will adopt an innovative perspective for his all-new interpretation of the legendary hero Kamen Rider Black Sun. Now, they emphasize Black Sun here, and for those of you who do not know, Kamen Rider Black is about Minami Kotaro and his brother Nobuhiko something, and they're part of this, they're heirs basically to this organization called Golgum, and Golgum has this thing where every, I don't know if it's 100 years or 1,000 years or whatever, but at a certain time, they elect two people to be Century Kings, or potential Century Kings, and the Century Kings battle each other to the death for the right to become the Century King. It's a little weird then, because in the end it's like, well, there's a guy who's in power right now who's like technically the leader of Golgum, so why doesn't he just keep being in power? But maybe the idea is for these guys to become vessels that he can then possess, because he's like a weird unembodied thing, or it's like it's a weird guy. The big bad at the end is very strange looking, and it's kind of difficult to understand how he is the big bad, unless of course he can like possess people or whatever. I don't know. Been a long time since I watched Kamen Rider Black, but I still remember it. It still rings in my heart. I still think Nobuhiko. So anyway, but yeah, they're supposed to be fighting each other to the death to become the Century King. And, technically they're called Century Kings. And I think I read in something that they are called Century Kings, but they're called Shadow Moon, and they're called Black Sun. Shadow Moon, Black Sun. There's a duality. It's the sun and the moon. It's these two great lights in the sky, these two great things that reign over the earth, so to speak. So one of them has the potential of seizing the power, seizing the throne of the Century King, becoming the king head of Golgum, and subduing the earth for Golgum's will. And Golgum has mutants, although they're like ancient beings, so how are they mutants? I don't know. It's kind of funny, but whatever. Anyway, Minami Kotaro was originally called Black Sun. That's what they call him. That's what the priests, the three high priests of Golgum call him whenever they encounter him, or when they're talking about him and talking about how to, take over Japan and whatnot. They say like, Black Sun is in our way, and then there's the Shadow Moon to oppose him. And it's interesting, Black Sun, Shadow Moon, I'll just bring up that dichotomy once again. Those are awesome names. And I always thought it would be cool if, kind of like in Kamen Rider the First, there was a period of time where we got to see Kamen Rider, or where we got to see Century King, perhaps Black Sun doing stuff, and then eventually he breaks away from Golgum and becomes good, and he's like, no, I'm releasing myself from being the Black Sun, which, like, a Black Sun nobody can live under, right? Or not healthfully anyway. And a Shadow Moon, it's a moon that's not casting its light. So it's interesting. These names are like invoking these things, these great luminaries in the sky, but then they're darkened because it's like, from their perspective, I don't know if something's wrong or not, but like from a human perspective, like, yeah, the sun being black and the moon being shadowed, those are not good things. We don't need, like, that's not going to promote life and flourishing for human beings, but maybe for Golgum, that's exactly what they need. And who knows, what deeper implications those names can mean, but they sound really cool, especially how they call Shadow Moon Sama throughout the series. Anyway, it's interesting to me that Kamen Rider Black had the sequel series of Kamen Rider Black RX, and as I understand it, it was not originally planned for it to be a sequel series. It was planned for it to be a whole new series, and I believe it was the popularity of Kamen Rider Black and perhaps Minami Kotaro himself, or rather Tetsuo Kurata, the actor, the artiste who played Kamen Rider Black, and Minami Kotaro, that caused Toei, and I don't know who else was involved, TV Asahi or whoever they were working with, maybe even Bandai, to say, hey, let's keep this guy. He's pretty great. He's the first Kamen Rider we've had in a long, long time. Everybody loves him. The show is epic. Let's keep this going. Let's make it happen. I don't know the full history behind it, but his belt is called the Sunriser. His Kingstone, which his Kingstone is inside of his Kamen Rider Black belt, Kamen Rider Black belt, and Shadow Moon also has a Kingstone within his belt, because of course they're going to be Century Kings. The goal for the Century Kings was to kill each other and rip out the other one's Kingstone, and use the two Kingstones to have the full power of the Century King and become King of Golgum, etc., etc. Interestingly enough, in Kamen Rider Black RX, his Kingstone is cut in half, and like, he should die, but somehow the sun, or God within the sun, or something, the sun god, I'm not sure, revives him, and it takes his Kingstone, which is split in half, and it turns it into side by side a belt that's gold, and then it has two red circles in it, which are his red Kingstone cut in half, and that belt is known as the Sunriser. And it's like never really talked about in the show. That it might be mentioned once in like the first or second episode, because it's a 2-part premiere, that it's called the Sunriser. But I know it because I'm really into Kamen Rider Black and Black RX, and I was really into it years back after I watched it. I wanted to dive into it, so I learned as much as I could, and I still remember all this stuff. Anyway, in fact, Sunriser was once part of a password I have. It's on an account from long ago that's since been changed multiple times, but still, like, I was that into it. Sunriser, that's so cool. Anyway, so, and then, he's powered by the sun. That's the idea of Kamen Rider Black RX, with his belt, the Sunriser. And to me, his stomach, his abs, they've got this silver mesh kind of thing on it. To me, it looks like it's supposed to be kind of solar powered, and it gets like iridescent in episode 2 when he first becomes Kamen Rider Black RX. I wonder if it's very possible that, and this is my dangerous speculation, that I presume, series of Kamen Rider Black Sun, and I hope they stick with that name for the series, even if he's called Kamen Rider Black in it. But I really hope that in Kamen Rider Black Sun, that we get like a truncated series of Kamen Rider Black and have it kind of evolve into Kamen Rider Black RX, because it would be amazing to see Black turn to Black RX, and then maybe even have the other two forms, Bio Rider and Robo Rider. I don't know. I don't know if I really want that or if it's just it seems like a good idea. But I feel like you could take the Black and Black RX series and really like rewrite them and evolve the story, because especially there was this weird thing in a motorcycle that was called like the RX engine or the RX circuit or whatever, and I was so confident that when I saw that in Kamen Rider Black, like, oh my gosh, they're planting the seeds for Kamen Rider Black RX, because I didn't know anything about the series, like the background of the series at the time and how they were developed and how everything happened. But I thought it was very possible that it could happen, that they were related, and that I thought like, well, maybe he's gonna kind of become Kamen Rider Black RX at the end of this series, because how is he gonna beat Shadow Moon? Because Shadow Moon, the way Shadow Moon is shot, the way he has this like sound effect for when he walks in, the way he makes an entrance and everything, Shadow Moon is so intimidating. And he's got the Satan Saber, and he beats Birugenia, who, spoilers for Kamen Rider Black, sorry, who Kotaro, who Minami Kotaro, who was having such a hard time beating. Shadow Moon just turns Birugenia into a chump. I thought, how in the world is Black gonna beat Shadow Moon? I'm not sure he can do it. What's it gonna happen? And then, I won't spoil everything for it, but the showdown between them is amazing, and the way it ends is super tragic for everybody. And, Kamen Rider Black really does have that lonely, lonely heart. But someone out there loves him. And that someone might be me. And, thousands or millions of other people. I don't know. Especially because Kamen Rider Black's popular throughout the world. Anyway, I was thinking it'd be so awesome if this Shiraishi guy, whose work I'm not familiar with, and I might try to watch some of his stuff, but then again, I'm watching Ultraman and Kamen Rider and Super Sentai and doing everything else that I'm doing. I'm not sure that I'm going to have time for that. Plus, some anime that I've been watching, too. Which, by the way, there's SSSS.Dynazenon or something like that. I didn't realize Gridman, SSSS.Gridman, was getting a sequel. I got to watch that now, too. So go ahead and check that out pretty soon after you get the speculation episode. That should be out this week, the same week. Anyway, all the links for it in the show notes, the post, whatever. So, yeah, I want to see, wow, that's a beautiful coyote. Holy smokes. Wow. God bless. That's amazing. Huh. If I weren't recording on my phone, I'd take a little picture of that guy. Anyway, so beautiful. Anyway, whew. But yeah, I want to see, and I hope this happens. I won't be disappointed if it doesn't, but I want to see a bold step taken, and this Shiraishi guy, if he's like this master filmmaker, for him to take these two stories and blend them into one, and for something to happen in the middle of Kamen Rider Black, where, maybe like he dies or something, and then somehow he's able to come back as Kamen Rider Black RX with two Kingstones or a split Kingstone, or maybe even, this would be so tragic. What if he ends up killing Nobuhiko, and then he takes Nobuhiko's Kingstone? Wow, I'm blowing my own mind here. And he puts it into his belt, but he refuses to become the Century King and instead uses the power of his dead brother, who he's had to kill, oh my goodness, to embolden himself, to strengthen his power, to take it to the next level so that he can take down Golgum from the inside or whatever. So he can avenge the fact that he's been put through this, and he uses the power of himself and Nobuhiko to become the sun and the moon, to become the king of creation in a different way, fighting for mankind against Golgum. And he's able to become, and this is interesting, the other forms of Kamen Rider Black RX, Robo Rider and Bio Rider, are known as the Prince of Sorrow and the Prince of Anger. And what would make you more the Prince of Sorrow and the Prince of Anger than if you had to kill your own brother to become the king, but you reject the crown, so you stay a prince who avenges your brother, and you're sorrowful or maybe angry. I don't know. And maybe there could even be like a duality within him, where half of him is the king of, or the Prince of Sorrow, and half of him is the Prince of Anger, and that represents, and maybe it'd be like Nobuhiko, because he was brainwashed by Golgum to become Shadow Moon. He would embody the Prince of Anger, and he would have this power that Minami, or that Kotaro, would tap into, but then Kotaro himself would take on the moniker of the Prince of Anger in this other form as Black RX. I don't know. It's crazy speculation. I would love to see it happen, though. I really hope that this is a 2022 series. And I really hope, due to the fact that now that we're getting 0-1 on Blu-ray and streaming, or I think it's streaming, or maybe DVD, whatever. I'm going to buy the Blu-ray because I need to support this. I need to make it happen. I prepaid for the Go Ranger manga. I hope that 7 Seas will pick up the Kamen Rider manga or the Kamen Rider Black manga, which would be amazing, especially because we've got the Kamen Rider movie coming out 2023. We've got this Black Sun series 2022. Like, they can do it. They should jump on this now. I don't, like, there's a lot going on in the world, whatever. I'm praying every day that Messiah comes, Mashiach now. I'm all about that. I'm all in for, God's will being done, and for, whatever to happen happens. And, I pray that me and mine and you and yours will be, happy one day at the end of the age, whatever. But, like, in the meantime, I want to enjoy all this stuff, and I really want Toei, and I really want Tsuburaya to have success as they branch out and spread this stuff more. They made these Rider Week announcements. They're in Japan initially, but like Bluefin and Team Rider are sharing these things and putting them out there. They're working with Tubi, they're working with Pluto, they're working with all these other, channels to, bring this to America first, and then the rest of the world later, whatever. I'm in America, so I'll take it here first. Thank you very much. Anyway, they're doing all this stuff, and I wish for them to have a lot of success with this, and I want to support all these, U.S. releases, English language releases, and I'm gonna buy it. Like I said, as soon as that 01, I'll look around later this week. As soon as I find the 01 Blu-ray who's selling it, I'm gonna buy it, and I'll buy the Kamen Rider manga. I'll buy the Kamen Rider Black RX manga in physical copy, even though I have the Comixology version of the Kamen Rider Black manga, or the Kamen Rider manga, which may prohibit it from being. I don't know how all that works. But I'm into it. I want to see it happen. I hope that this is successful. And obviously, if you've listened to me nerding out for the last, how long? Oh boy. So I've been recording this for 21 minutes, and probably the 5 minutes were intro, and then 15 were me like blubbing, basically. I'm into this stuff, man. I want to see it happen, and I hope that it happens. And I'm going to be there supporting it with my money. I'm going to be supporting it on my channels. I'm going to be reviewing it. You can find all that stuff at mgmoonage.com eventually. Go back there. Honestly, for Rider Tears, I was planning on watching and reviewing all 90 whatever episodes of Kamen Rider, and then all of Kuga. I don't know what I'm going to do now that there's this embarrassment of riches. I'm going to have to work it out. But I am kind of trying to adapt a style where when I do a review, because this is not a review, this is a crazy, exaltation and celebration of Kamen Rider Week. I'm trying to keep my reviews to between 5 and 10 minutes, and I'm trying to fine-tune it and make a structure, and I think I'm like finding that groove. I've been reviewing stuff for a long time, but I'm adapting to try to make it better, and I think I'm delivering higher quality content. It's taking me less time, and also the episodes are shorter and sweeter, but there's going to be a lot more of them. So anyway, look forward to that stuff. Go to mgmoonage.com. I'm working on a children's tokusatsu-inspired bedtime story book that I will be at the end of April, God willing. I will have the manuscript 100% done, and then I will contact an artist to do high contrast black and white art. If you're into high contrast black and white art, if you like kaiju, if you like tokusatsu, if you want to help me make a tokusatsu children's storybook and make some money, please contact me. I'd love to see your work. I'd love to hire you. I want to make money on this, and I want to help people make money on this, and I want to share an awesome bedtime story thing. So anyway, mgmoonage.com. Check all that stuff out. I got to go punch in. It's time for me to get to work. I don't know what to say except for, remember, you don't have to shout Henshin to be a hero. You can do everyday heroic acts just with the power that you've been given by God, by your creator, by the universe, by accident, whatever you believe. But you can make your life matter, because it does matter, and you can be a good to others, like our tokusatsu heroes, like Kamen Rider Black, like Black RX, like all the rest. Whoever your faves are, it doesn't matter. I leave you with peace and blessings. This is MJ signing out.